Hey, welcome to potentially the new format for the Snickerdoodle Knits email, newsletter, update, whatever thing. Um, yeah, I basically just recorded a video for the Full Circle Entrepreneurship part of my email list. So you didn't know, I have multiple brands. Snickerdoodle Knits, that's where I design knitting patterns, I sell those patterns, and I sometimes do workshops and things for knitters. I'm wanting to do more of that in the future, but if you didn't know, I do also have an almost 1-year-old, and my time is much more limited these days than it used to be. And I didn't get that stuff done in the past, so no promises on dates or anything like that. Although I do have some um, courses and things that I taught in the past that, although the video recording isn't necessarily the best, I don't remember for 100%, but it's been several years since I did it. Um, I'm thinking I'm going to compile those um, into courses to sell instead of just letting them sit on my computer. Which, if you're already an email newsletter subscriber, you already know that because I told you that about a while ago. And I asked which you'd be interested in. So anyway, I just recorded a video for my other part of my business that's for creative entrepreneurs and knitting pattern designers, talking about business and life stuff. Um, and I decided I'd do this here too, because for many years, I have found it easier to talk like this than to talk via an email. And I feel like there's value in emails, especially now that my time's more limited, because these can get rambly and long and all of that. Anyway, Minnie's stirring, so hopefully he's not up from his nap already, because I'm basically going to record the email here instead. Real quick, I do need to pull up, though, what our charity of the month is. So, if you didn't know, um, I have a different charity every single month that I feature, and a percentage of my sales from a Ravelry and my website go to that charity of the month. Um, Here we go. So, the charity for June. And also just to clarify, this is like my replacement for the email list, but I am also going to post it on my YouTube channel. Um, and then, so if you're watching this on the YouTube channel, you are more than welcome to subscribe to my email list. I'll leave a link to that in the description. Okay, so that's also part of why I'm explaining a little more detail about how things work in case you are on my YouTube channel, but you aren't on my email list. Okay, um, June this month, I am the featured sponsor. The sponsor of the month is Dolly Parton's Imagination Library, which is a program that sends free books to kids. I think 0 to 5 years old, something zero might be less than that, 0 to something. Anyway, as soon as your kid's born, you can sign up for it. Um, and I think they have it outside of the US now too. Anyway, they send free books to kids to encourage reading and all of that stuff. Um, and I actually am signed up for the program for Minnie. So we get a book every single month, and I've signed up for the bilingual version. So you can do the English version, you can do the bilingual version. I don't know if there's a Spanish only version. Anyway, so every single book that we receive is written in both English and Spanish. So hopefully the goal is that he can pick up on some Spanish as well. So it's a really great charity organization that is providing books for children at no cost to the families. Especially important for those in low-income families like the one that I grew up in. So yeah, I just wanted to give back to that charity, especially since we are taking advantage of it. Like we get the free books, but also to spread the word and all of that. So if you know a family that could use the free books, tell them about it as well. And if it's cause that's valuable to you, or that you appreciate that you would like to support, you can purchase a pattern from Snickered Little Knits on my website on Ravelry, and a portion of those sales. I'm trying to think. I think it's 10% or 15%. I can't remember the percent that I actually donate. Um, Also, just FYI, I have done my research. Every single charity that I um uh feature, I've done like the research to like see like their rating and like make sure that they have, a high percentage of their income goes to the actual cause and all that kind of stuff. So you can rest assured that I did that as well. Anyway, so what I actually wanted to share with you is, and part of why it's been a while since you heard from me again, real quick before I do that, I'm actually in my paint clothes because we are going to go to the library in just under an hour, and do a painting event. It's going to be Minnie's first time painting, and so they tell us to come, in it's like water, what's it called? Washable paints. But they tell us to come in clothing that is you're fine with getting paint all over. So I was not actually set up to do videos and everything. I just kind of sat down and was like, instead of writing these emails, I'm gonna record them. Um, so Anyway, we went back home, and for me, back home to where my family is, where I grew up, is Montana, and we got a direct flight, flew into Bozeman, and then that's where my sister lives, so she picked us up, and then we drove to Billings, where my family lives. Um, and so we got to do that whole drive. We got to land in the mountains, essentially right beside the mountains. The mountains are so beautiful. I I think Montana is such a beautiful state. Obviously, I'm biased, but it is so gorgeous, especially the mountains. Um, and if you've never been, Glacier National Park, highly, highly, highly recommend, and definitely recommend the western side of the state, which is not where I grew up. But um, the rest of the state is beautiful as well. It's just not the same caliber, in my opinion. Anyway, so every time that I go home and, see the landscape again and all of the things, of course, it reminds me of my collection that I designed that is all about Montana. So if you don't know, it was 2020, I think, actually, that I released it. So 4.5 years ago now, I released a series of patterns made of three different collections, and they're all centered around this idea of belonging. It's such a core thing to us as humans to have this desire to connect to other people and to belong, to feel safe, to feel welcome there. And it's something that I struggled with a lot, uh, for many years. And so even though Montana is going back home, that's not where I feel like I just belong. It's not where I choose to live. And it's not where yeah, I just don't feel like I belong there. And then I went to college in Wyoming, and I definitely didn't feel like I belonged there either, um, especially socially. Uh, anyway, but then it was like when we moved to North Carolina, even though we didn't like know anybody here, my partner, he hadn't even been to the state before. I had been once, and I had a friend here. Um, and she's the whole reason I had come several years prior, not having any idea that I would ever move here. It just felt so right to be here, like we belonged, even though we don't have this social community. I guess we have more of a social community now. It still isn't like robust, but it just feels like home. It feels like we belong here. And so that's what inspired, because we moved here in 2019. That is what inspired this whole collection, was like, it's just like this feeling of ease and belonging, even when it doesn't make sense. So Montana, the Montana collection is called My Forever Home. The North Carolina collection is called A New Home. And then I also have a collection that is about next door neighbors, where it's about Canada, because I grew up in Montana, and so like the Canadians were our neighbors. Um, and each collection, there's lots and lots of symbolism in them. But anyway, today we're just going to talk about the Montana collection. So the Montana collection is all DK weight patterns. There are 5 patterns in the collection. If you purchase the collection as the full collection, you get 15% off the total price. So if you like all of the patterns, you can do it that way. Uh, let's see, where do we begin? Let's begin with the mountains. So we have the Going to the Mountains poncho, which let me just put it on. Let's just put it on. Which is like, I just love the poncho feel. It's just like so cozy. Um, oh, where did it go? Is it because I lost my head? There we go. Styled perfectly with my outfit. Anyway, this is the poncho. If you raise your hands, this is what it does. But it's just like cozy. It's like a sweater, but it's easier to take off, and it's kind of like a blanket, but it stays on you. Anyway, love it. So symbolism here is we have the dirt trails to climb up the mountains. Here we just have a whole bunch of mountains. If you have a not speckly yarn, your mountains will show up more. You can see that the mountains are just these stitch texture here. Boop, there we go. Boop, boop. And then, oh, and here, this is the snow falling. That color work up here. And then we go get into the snow falling, more trails, muddy trails, and more snow up top. So, or this is supposed, the idea was this is like climbing the mountain. So this is the bottom of the mountain, this is the top of the mountain. It doesn't really matter, right? But anyway, that's why I said top at the bottom. Um, so yeah, that is Going to the Mountains poncho. It is like a repeat several times around the poncho. So it doesn't matter how you put it on. It's totally turnable, whatever the word is for that. Okay, that is Going to the Mountains. So that's obviously favorite part of Montana to me. Um, where I grew up, we could kind of see the mountains in the distance. It was, only a couple hours to the mountains, like hour and a half maybe to the closest mountains. Like bigger mountains. But I was more in the plains. So that is more similar to can we get it? No, 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 no. Anyway, um, uh, more similar to I don't know what I was saying. Anyway, this is Where the Buffalo Roam Shawl. So this is the prairies. This is the um that dirt, earth, and then the brown of the bison. Um, yeah, it's a big cozy shawl. It uses cables for this is wheat motif is what it is. So it's like the wheat fields, the plains, where the buffalo roam. So cozy. And this pattern includes several different variations. So like if you want to do a small version, if you want to do a larger version, if you want these sections to look differently, I think I've included 3 different versions in the pattern with like diagrams like that show you what it looks like. Like I've colored it in and everything for you. Um, so there's, when I say versions, it's not fully written out versions, like the total pattern. It is like this is the pattern, and then it tells you, hey, if you want to do these other variations, you would just do this many repeats instead. So do this section, like one repeat instead of three or whatever this is. Um, yeah. So anyway, and of course you can have fun styling it. I have some photos that show what it looks like without the fringe, but I love the fringe. Yes. So that is the Wear the Buffalo Roam shawl. Okay. Ooh, what is I'm trying to remember what this hat is called. I'm gonna have to look it up. Weekends at the cabin. Okay, so yeah, it's a total thing where like lots of people have like not lots of people. I don't know how many people, but some people have like cabins up in the mountains. Like they'll live down in the valley, but then they have cabins in the mountains. And so, I mean, lots of people do. Yeah. That doesn't mean that like a large percentage of the population or a majority of the population does, but um, so they might go hang out at the cabin for the weekend. They might go hang out at the cabin for the summer, um, that kind of thing. So that's what this is about, is weekends at the cabin, like up in the mountains. And the idea is you're sitting in the cabin, looking out, enjoying the view. So this includes two different versions, and there is like literally two different patterns in there, the pattern. So there's the mountain version. So you can have the mountains here in front. You can have them. I I hate wearing hats because I hate the way that they look on me. But I don't know if I've even really worn. Oops, that still isn't what I was going for. I was trying to show what it looks like. Oh, JK. That's why. Obviously, I designed these a few years ago and I forgot. It is the same. It's a continued motif all the way around. Um, so this is just kind of the idea, depending on where you decide to position it in the front. And then what it looks like, side. Obviously you could make it slouchier if you want. My hair was a lot longer when I designed this hat. And so it's more complicated to actually put it on my head and everything. But yeah, that is the Weekends at the Cabin Mountains version and then the tree version. So the pattern, like I said, it has both versions written out. It also has both versions in charts, which if you didn't know, all of my patterns have charts and written version in them. Um, so tree version, shoop, 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 whoop, shoop. Um, yep. So there we go. Uh, it's actually kind of cute, like on me. Like I've never liked hats on me, but now with this haircut, shoop, 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 shoop. Yep. Hey. Anyway, um, let's continue. Um, so now I'm gonna have hat hair, huh? Before I always, as soon as I took my hat off, I had to put my hair back up so it wasn't a big, huge, tangly mess. Okay. Um, did I go on that tangent? No, let's not go on that tangent. Okay, the next one. Actually, yeah, let's do that. I should have done the other one earlier after the shawl, but um, Montana for me is a very synonymous with cold, snowy winters. So, um, this is the Cozy Winter's Cowl, and it is representative of all the different snow types, snow volumes. So there's like no snow here at the top. And then we just start getting heavier and heavier and heavier snow. So there's like 7 different sections here, each with their own repeat. which this is such a fun, addicting knit. Like, um, so fun to work through. Yeah, it's like they talk about like potato chip knitting, where it's like you just like want to keep, potato chips, you just want to keep eating more. Knitting, you just keep wanting the potato chip knitting, you just keep wanting to knit more. Because it's like you finish one section, it's like, okay, I want to do another one. Like that was really quick and easy. So yeah, I love working with pattern. Um, so yeah, the snow gets heavier. So each of those sections has a different name. So there's like flurries, and then there's like down here, it's like blizzard. Um, but it's just, I don't know, it's this like faded texture. So it's just like gets heavier on the fade. And yeah, it's simple, but it's beautiful. It has an I-cord bind off here at the top. So, and that is that one. I also have a second sample um to show the sizes because all of my patterns have multiple sizes. Just about. Not all of my shawl patterns do, but the shawl pattern that I showed you did. Um, this hat pattern is like in child's through large, extra large, adult. Um, this pattern has three different sizes. So no, this one's a large. This is, I think, the medium that I just showed you. Um, so you can get an idea of, yeah. Also, if you didn't know, almost all of my cowl patterns are like flared out. So they're narrower at the top and wider at the bottom so that they fan out better and they're not just like a rectangle trying to fit over your body. Um, so yeah, that's helps it lay out nicer. So yeah, you can see again that faded texture. Um, and I am just recording this on Zoom on my computer, so I apologize. It's not going to be the highest quality photos, but you can go to the pattern listing for that. And I'll go ahead, if you are on YouTube, I can put all of the pattern links for all of these into the description for you. Okay, last but not least, we are in the prairie area, and especially, we have lots of farmland in Montana. Lots and lots and lots of farmland. Um, so of course I had to include the farm in my collection. So really what I tried to do with these collections was like highlight the main elements that stood out to me about the state. So we have the mountains, we have the prairie, the buffalo, we have the snow, we have uh, the weekends of the cabin. I don't know, just like that look out into the mountains. I guess it's more the mountains, but mountains deserve two two patterns. And then we have the farm. So this is on the farm fingerless mitts. And again, reminder, all of these patterns are DK weight. And so the idea is it's like when you're standing at the end of the field and looking down the rows. Um, so you see, like to start with, you see all of this dirt and you can see the rows of dirt between, actual rows of the fields. And then you see like the crop between them. And then like the dirt just kind of like starts to fade away and you just see the crop out out there. So you just start to see the sea of green. So that's what this is showing that. And then this has a sewn edge bind off, I think is what it's called. Um, I should have done all my research before doing a video, but like I said, I was not planning on doing a video. So to make sure I am using all the right terms and everything, because it's been 5 years since I designed these patterns. I was wrapping them up at this time 5 years ago so that they could go into testing and everything. Um, yeah, so it creates like this rolled edge that I kind of like. Anyway, um, yeah, so that is the Montana collection, known as a new home collection. Um, and so we have the fingerless mitts, we have the cowl, we have the hat, we have the shawl, we have the poncho, all in DK weight, all to remind us of the beauty of Montana, but also the symbolism of kind of like where we came from or like what kind of feels like going back home. Maybe where our people are, even if that's not where you grew up, kind of this like maybe it's even like a vacation spot that you've been to multiple times. And it's like, okay, this isn't where I live, but it's like, this just like feels like it's like coming home, going back home. So, um, yeah, that's what I wanted to share with you. Um, I have a lot of fun creating those surveys, but I don't know what I want to use for my questions. So check out the email for that. Um, and if you made it through this whole video, thanks so much for hanging out with me and trying out this new format for the email. We'll see if I continue to like it. It does mean that I just basically can sit down and record my emails while Minnie is sleeping and I'm not agonizing over every single word and all of the things. I'll have to figure out what I want to do for photos. Like, do I keep making the email list long, like the email itself long, um, show you all of the patterns and, remind you of the charity and all of that kind of stuff? Or do we keep it shorter and sweeter with a little summary? Maybe that's what the survey question will be. Um, what you think of this format, basically. But also, like, feel free to respond. Let me know. Uh, because I know like I love talking this way. I love recording this way. I know it can get rambly, and I know that especially these days when I'm trying to get everything done in less time, and maybe I'm doing things when I can't have the volume on. Maybe Minnie's sleeping next to me or something like that. Or maybe I'm like trying to go through my emails while I'm in the doctor's office and I don't have my earbuds with me, that kind of thing. Um, I know that I watch less videos. I listen to less podcasts in general. And I get frustrated when people send an email and it's like, hey, go listen to the episode. And I'm like, I don't have the time. Like, can you just, summarize it for me here? So, I definitely won't do that where I just drop the video, but let me know if summary is sufficient, if you prefer the regular format, because it is, I don't know, I kind of like the new format with the all the different elements and the joke and everything like that. Or if you like this, because it feels like it doesn't have to be as polished. And as a quote unquote consumer, um, I really do. I love listening to and watching other people's podcasts and videos because I feel like we just get to know them better. Um, and so I do like that as a person consuming content as well. Anyway, those are just my thoughts. Let me know what you think either in the comments here in the YouTube world or hit reply to the email, whatever is your gem. All right. Thank you for hanging out, for being here in my world, and keep making beautiful things that you love and, intentionally finding beauty in everything, in the little things, in every day. It doesn't have to be in everything, but every day find something beautiful that's sprinkling your path because there's something there, whether it's the rain providing water, whether it's the sunshine providing sunshine and warmth and light, whether it's, your coffee you drank this morning. Or maybe it's something bigger. Maybe it's somebody who smiled at you or text you or um, somebody rambling on the internet like me. Okay, I'll catch you again soon, hopefully. Talk to you later.